Hey, welcome to another yoga class. My name is Ralph. I'm your yoga teacher. Today we have a great morning class for those of you who may be beginners, but also for those of you who have been practicing for some time. This class is going to be great to start the morning, to start a routine, and to start a habit of practicing yoga on a consistent basis. But feel free to come back to this class anytime you want. We're going to be focusing on the low back. Gonna go into 1 to 2 sun salutation A's, but it's not too intensive. It's gonna feel great as soon as you finish so that you can start your day. So get something comfortable on, find your mat, and I'll see you in class. Get right to it. So let's come to child's pose. Both knees coming on the outer edges of the mat, placing both toes together and reaching both arms forward. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Keep reaching those arms, keep reaching those hands. On your next inhale, let's bring that left hand on top of the right hand. Keep reaching down through your left hip toward that left heel. Good, let's come over to the opposite side. So bring that left hand back where it was, place the right hand on top, and reach that right hip down toward that right heel. You should feel the stretch all the way from that right armpit all the way down to the right hip. Okay, so you open up that right side body. Start to cue into your breath. Just taking note of it, noticing where the inhale is coming from, where it's going. As you exhale, same thought process. Let's come back to center. See if you can press down with your hips just a tad bit more. And let's release. So inhale, coming up to all fours, curling the toes. Few cat-cows, look up, inhale, drop the stomach, exhale. Press the mat away, reach in the spine. Inhale, look up. Exhale, press away, curl the spine. And last one, inhale, look up. Exhale, press away. Good. Let's come back to child's pose here, but let's bring the knees and thighs together. Release the tops of the feet, and let's come all the way down. Your chest is making connection with the tops of the thighs. Reach both hands behind you, palms facing up, and lay that forehead down onto the mat. Find the breath. Good, and let's slowly release, bringing the hands back under the shoulders. And let's come all the way down to our chest. So release the feet. And let's come into a Sphinx pose, okay? So you're gonna bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, placing both hands on the mat, and come up to a Sphinx. You're just breathing through it. Dropping the shoulders away from your ears. On your next inhale, let's bring the gaze over toward that right heel. On your exhale, let's look over to the left heel. Inhale, look over to the right. Exhale, look over to the left. Last one, inhale, look over to the right. Exhale, back over to the left. And let's come back to neutral. Let's do the same thing here, but looking up and down. So inhale, look up. Exhale, bring your chin to your chest. Keep pressing down through your forearms. Inhale, look up to the sky. Exhale, bring the chin to the chest, pointing your gaze toward that navel. Last two here. Inhale, look up. Good. Bringing the eyes down. and last one. Keep pressing down to the forearms. And exhale back to neutral. See if you can press down a tad bit more into the forearms, the elbows. Good, and release. Let's lift on up to the knees. Stepping back to child's pose one more time, wide-legged child's pose. Big breath in, exhale, release. And again, 2 more. Last one. Curl the toes, lift the hips, step back to downward facing dog, pedal out your feet, 25 pedals, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, so your heels reaching toward the mat, 24, 25, good, inhale, lift on up to the toes. Exhale, reach the heels back down. Point your gaze between the feet. Inhale, look up. Lift up. Exhale, press the heels back down. And let's walk toward the top of our mat. Inhale to a halfway lift so your knees and feet can be hip width apart. Lifting the eyes, lifting the chest. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, a slow spinal curl all the way up. Keep the hands and arms heavy as you then lift the head, which is then followed by the arms, reaching out to the sides, up to extended mountain pose. Inhale. If you can bring the hands together, point your gaze toward your thumbs. Keep reaching up and extended mountain pose here. Slowly closing down the eyes, drop your shoulders away from your ears. And bringing the hands together all the way down to the third eye area, all the way down to the heart. Bringing the hands to a prayer position, keeping the eyes closed, making attention for yourself. Focus on the breath. I'll give you just a moment. And we'll start to move here. Good, big breath in, inhale. Exhale, let it out. Bring the hands down by your side and let's start to move here. Inhale, reach both arms up to extend the mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees as much as you need to. Inhale to a halfway lift. Step back to a high plank, come down to the knees, shift back in the hips. Exhale to dive between the hands, come all the way down to a baby cobra. Inhale, okay. Exhale, lift on up to the knees, curl the toes, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right leg up to the sky. And let's lower it. Let's go to the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. And breathe, 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 breathe. Keep pressing down through the hands. And release the left leg, left foot back to the mat. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, lift up to the toes, bend the knees. Back up to downward facing dog. Last one. Inhale up to the toes, bend the knees. Back up to downward facing dog. Good. Let's come all the way down to the knees, keeping the knees and thighs together. Coming down to a closed-legged child's pose. Wake up the low back.
Same with the shoulders, as you allow the gravity and weight to curl the shoulders in toward the mat as well as the body, placing your forehead on the mat. 3 breaths here. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one. And breathing out. Good. Let's bring the hands back onto the mat and let's sit over to a seat. We're going to extend both legs down toward the mat. We're going to come into a butterfly. So Baddha Konasana, which is placing both soles of the feet together. Okay, and I'll face you just so you can have a better idea of what we're doing here. Placing the soles of the feet together, lift on up through the spine, close down the eyes, and allow the knees to hang heavy toward the mat. A few more breaths. Good, and let's release. Extending both legs down toward the mat. Let's bring the feet together. Paschimottanasana, inhale, just a seated forward fold. Raise the arms. Exhale, catch the feet. Maybe the toes, the outer edges of the feet, or maybe your hands are just placed on the outer edges of the legs. And let's bring the chin down toward the chest. Really hinge within the hips so that you can extend the chest forward. Don't want to round the back as much, so if you need a block, feel free to use one. Or maybe you're not as deep as you may like to have gone. But guess what? Don't worry about that. Do not worry about that. It's not a competition. It's not a race. It's all about consistency. And once you use your breath to move and your breath to enhance postures, you'll then eventually start to fold a little bit deeper. Continue breathing in and out through the nose. Good, and let's release. Coming all the way down to our back. Keep the knees bent, both feet planted on the floor. Try to stack your ankles underneath the knees. And let's lift up to a bridge. So inhale, lift up, lift the hips. Keep pressing down through your feet and bridge. And slowly bring the body back down toward the mat. One breath. Good, and let's lift on up to bridge one more time. If you can, interlace the hands underneath you and curl the shoulders to lift up a tad bit higher. Feel free to do that. Continue pressing down through your feet, all 4 corners of your feet here. So the top right corner of your foot, the top left, the bottom right, bottom left, and both feet. Keep pressing down, keep lifting up. Good, let's slowly bring it down. Nice work. Bring both knees into the chest and squeeze. Keep pressing your low back down into the mat. Squeeze the knees. Make that connection with the chest as well as the tops of the thighs. Good, and we'll work the hamstrings one more time here. So from here, you can always stay here, and if something's a little bit more advanced than what you've done, feel free to skip it, okay? So grab both toes, peace fingers, grab the toes. Maybe you grab the sides of the legs, the shins. Reach both legs up to the sky. Keep pressing your low back down into the mat. Point your gaze toward those top feet. A few more breaths. You know, sometimes when I practice, I can grab the toes and bend a little bit further with the legs, but I don't think the hamstrings want that today. And it's so important to just listen to the body, knowing when to ease off, knowing when to push forward a bit. Good. Let's bring the legs down, squeeze the knees into the chest one more time. Let's come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So same thing we did earlier, but Supta meaning we're laying back. Press the feet together, the soles of the feet, and the knees drop outward. Palms facing up on the sides of the body, closing down the eyes. This posture really opens up the inner hips. It works the low back. You may be feeling it there. If you're feeling it in the low back a tad bit too much, feel free to bring the legs closed and squeeze the knees back into the chest, just to take some of the tension off. What also helps me a lot is coming into child's pose, as we did earlier. So if you feel a little bit of tension in the back after practice or during, feel free to just come into child's pose. Last few breaths in Supta Baddha Konasana. Good, nice work, nice work. Let's extend both legs down toward the top of the mat. Both arms are already extended out. Let's bring the eyes closed. For Shavasana, we take rest. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need to. If not, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I appreciate you for practicing with me. I appreciate it, I truly do. Keep visiting this class to build a little bit more solid foundation and strength within your practice. Other than that, I'll see you all at the next class. Namaste.